Hello YouTube, Ronan Kazi. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. If I put the title I want in here, it's going to be clickbait, so I apologize in advance. I've upped my wallpaper game on my computers. That one's not turned on. Let me turn this one on, and then hopefully they'll both be doing their groovy thing. All right, so we're in KDE. One of the things I've talked about in a lot of these distributions are the desktop interface, desktop environment. And one of the things I've been harping on KDE, because, you know, you can do a lot of things with it. But I took that to a different level, right? I just said to myself, how hard would it be to recreate like a Minix lint interface? How different can it be? Well, it's not that different, to be quite honest. So what you're seeing on the video is in KDE, that's the base kind of wallpaper, and I'm already changing the interface, right? So I'm going to make, I think at the top on the top right corner, I'm going to make all your clock and all your little items, your little knickknacks that you can turn on or off. And I'm going to have like a icon bar that's maybe showing either your default programs or maybe what's your taskbar as well. And then we're going to have, it's either in the upper left or the upper or the bottom left, you're going to have a button where you hit, where you pull up your menu stuff. And the thing I want you to think about is this. I can make this however I want. Would I have, obviously the people at Macintosh didn't stylize their system after Windows, right? They came up with their own design. And a lot of these GNOME or Genome and KDE and all these XFCE and LXQt and all these other desktop environments have their own ideas. Now, again, like picking a distro, picking a desktop environment, maybe you're going to say, Ronan, that's too many choices for me, and right. What we want is this. We want something that when the time comes, okay, I haven't made the title screen yet, but I was going to do something about El Nino. When the super El Nino hits, you're going to have time, because if you're somewhere where it's raining, you're going to be able to take time to finally take the time, the day, the 20 minutes to make the desktop environment exactly how I want. I don't know what would be the best thing. In general, I'm full screen with a game, so I'm not with my desktop environment. I just want the tools I'm always going to use. For me, the tools I always use, Steam, OBS, screen capture, the file manager, and the terminal. And Cache has a thing called Cache Hello. Those are the things I use all the time. That's my workflow, YouTube. So what you're seeing going on now is you can see I've managed to get that clock and everything in the upper right. Now what I'm trying to do is get that little symbol down there is the KDE, I think, or is the KDE logo for that. So I'm going to try to get that on its own. And I'm at various levels of, you know, that's going to either hide those things. What I'm eventually going to settle on is hide it if a window comes, hide the interface. Otherwise, let it be open. And some of the considerations are this. If you're using a program that you always got to go in the upper left-hand corner, you obviously don't want the system menu picker to be up in that upper left-hand corner, because it's going to get in your way. So you can make this however you want. And I didn't know what I was doing. So you're going to notice sometimes I go to select some of the items and I'll delete items, because I'm learning this just on the fly. And it's super easy. Now, what I did teach myself, when I first got into KDE, I just wanted all the icons in the middle at the bottom and everything at the bottom in the middle. And after trying to make it like Mint or do other things, well, I really don't want to look down in the lower right hand corner for all those little bits and bobs, and quite frankly that's too small for me. And on my one laptop that's also a tablet, my Chewy, they need to be bigger. So you can make all those bigger. You can make the clock bigger. You can make all this stuff for us geezers. You can make it for big size. Or you can make it as minimal as you want. The point is, that's why KDE is the best. But my resources. CachyOS is designed for basically processors 2016 and on. If you have a PC 2016 on, you're not going to have a resource issue. Maybe you save 500 megabytes. Let's say the difference between a very light desktop environment and KDE. But at that point, what are we doing here? And maybe we'll talk about low resource distros. When I try to do that, what AI tells me is that you're really not saving that much, because the amount of stuff. I said, well, do games go faster if I have X11? Or most games, when they're full screen, right directly to the screen, they're not going through your Wayland or X11, I guess. I don't know. I'm just going to tell you that. So we're getting closer. So now you see I have an upper right hand side. I have my little indicators, and over on my left now, and I'm making that bigger. That's where my taskbar is going to be and my programs that I want to work with. Now I want that to hide whenever a window's up there. I want it to be, let's say if I have nothing on the screen, I'm not full size window, I want it to be visible. So this is where I change it. And I'm just going in and changing that stuff. There's even a way to make this look like XFCE if that's what floats your boat. And you'll notice my close, maximize, minimize is on the left because I have a Macintosh, and that's how Macintosh does it. I've even seen with this style, I haven't been able to do it yet, and I don't know if I'd want to do it, where you can have in the upper left where it will just have all your menus up there for each window like Macintosh does. I think everything's possible with KDE. But really, it gives you, what do you want to work? Would you copy Windows 95, have everything in the lower left? One problem with having things up in the top is that's where you close and do stuff with Windows and all that kind of stuff. So now you can see I'm changing it again, and I'm making it hide when Windows get in there. So now I'm going to make a full screen window, hopefully. Oh crap, I don't need to do that. Do the browser dummy. And the dummy picks the browser. And now I'm going to put it over. See how it disappears? So I like that. So the last thing I need to do is have my application launcher. Where is that going to be? So I got to make another. So I'm going to go there, and that's where it's going to say, hey, do you want to make a, I want to make a default. So even if you delete everything, you can always back to the default. And now I'm going to move that around and reshape it. So that's what you can do with KDE. It's pretty easy. I did it last night on my other computer. I have a Dell Alienware 13R13 that I got Tumbleweed, OpenSUSE Tumbleweed installed on it, but it couldn't install anything else. I was going to do Tiny Core Plus. I was going to do Puppy Linux. I was going to do all this other stuff. I was going to do BIOS or Haiku. None of it will work. I put the Cachy one in. It works automatically. I don't know what it is. That's why I like Cachy. My face is ugly. Sorry for those videos that you're seeing. Oh, you're not seeing those. That's on my Earth Ronin. I'm getting this in. I'm doing this late. So what you should see on the title screen, let's go back to that, is El Nino, Super El Nino, and how KDE and the Super El Nino are tied together. Tied together because you're going to have time to, you need 20 minutes to do this. And you can even change that icon where it's, you know, you pick it, you can put your own icon, you can put your face if you wanted, you could put someone else's face, you know, whatever. So that's how I got it set up now. I might get rid of the peek the desktop because I think it's on the other bar. And usually you say, let me do the controls, and you hover over it, it'll give you a red X to get rid of it. So I think I checked on that. So I'm going to say show panel configuration. I'm going to go over that. You'll see a little red X get up there, and it'll let me get rid of it. Took me a while to figure out how to do that. I can just click it right there, but I didn't do that. And there's the little red X over there, and I'm going to get rid of that right now. There you go. Okay, that's it. That's great, and I'm going to tell it to do the same thing. Disappear if a window gets near. All right, so now I'm going to do my test with my browser again. And that's all you have to do, YouTube. That's why I prefer KDE, because you can turn it into any of those. You can't do the reverse. I can't get LXQt to do any of this. I can't get Cinnamon to do any of this. And Garuda was like a freak show. Like they had done all kinds of wild stuff. So that's why I was saying, if you really like to do crazy stuff, Garuda might be for you. But now I see how Garuda did it, right? Because it was important to me to figure out how to do that. I don't know if I like this cycling pink and yellow and pastel colors, but it is what it is. So, your distribution is CachyOS. Your desktop environment is KDE. Then, you make your own wallpaper, and I can show you how to do that, but it's really easy. Or just download your own wallpaper that's cool. Make your interface however you want it, then you're like one of those cool kids where you got the cool Linux distro, but really it's just CachyOS. It's really Arch in KDE, right? That's all you need to do. Testing it with the full screen, and when I get rid of it, everything pops back. And I think the last thing I'm going to do is change the wallpaper here. There we go. And these are the default wallpapers. You can save this as a theme. And then when you're reapplying the themes, you can say, change all the junk I did with the interface to it, and we'll change it right back. So you really can't lose anything. So this is Ronan Kazi. KDE helps us through Super El Nino. Bye, YouTube.